Hey there, Erin from the Artist Peels, and here I am in Photoshop, and I am going to show you how to turn this slightly gray background into all white. So, first thing to remember, Control Z is your best friend. Control Z is undo. I keep my left hand on the keyboard, my right hand is on a Wacom tablet with a pen. Trying to do this process with a mouse is going to give you carpal tunnel syndrome, so please don't. Just don't. Get a Wacom tablet. They're not that expensive. They're fantastic. The big ones do get expensive, but so worth it. Just get a little regular one for a couple of, I don't know, the small ones without a display are 20, 30, 40 bucks. You can get them used. So I'm going to hit W, which is the hotkey for the magic wand tool. If you don't want to use hotkeys, you can go up here to magic wand tool. So W. So click here. Up here, tolerance is set at 10. You can use 5, but it really doesn't select much. If you're here, it selects, and then each time you click a new place, it selects again something different. So I like to use this add to button here. So each time you click, it adds more. Now, I think for these 10 to 15 is about the right range. Whatever pixel you click on, it's going to use 10 more next to it, right? So I'm just trying to get all of this kind of cream colored here. And that's pretty good. Now, once we've gotten an initial selection, you see it hasn't gotten some of these sides here, and it probably hasn't gotten in between my letters. So that's okay. Now, what we're going to do is make sure you get in between the big spots that you can see. So here, 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 right? Enclosed areas need to be clicked separately because I have contiguous turned on. If you unclick the checkbox for contiguous, when you click this, it's going to select all the areas, including the highlights and the kale, which I don't want, so I want to turn that off. Control Z. Back up one step. So I like to keep contiguous turned on. That means next to each other. Okay? So I turn contiguous on for this. I'm zooming in, zooming out. That is Control plus or Control minus. So now that I have the majority of the white area selected, I'm going to go select, modify, and I'm going to expand by just 1 pixel. So let me pull this down so that you can see it. It's going to bring up, whoop, I'm going up to my other screen. For some reason, come here you. For some reason, my cursor, my extra boxes always come up on my other screen, and I have to pull them down here for you. See there? All right, 1 pixel. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to select, modify, and I'm going to do feather. And I'm going to feather 1 pixel. And this is going to make, let's zoom in so you could see it. So it makes it a little bit tighter. Let me Control Z so you can see the effect of that. Let's get in real close. So notice my selection was pretty good, pretty tight. I'm all the way down at the pixel level. See those squares? Those are pixels. Pixels are small squares of color. Now if we go select, modify, expand, 1 pixel. Look at that. It moves it in. And now I'm going to go select, modify, feather, 1 pixel. And it's just going to soften that. It is going to cut off like 1 pixel of your selection, but that's okay because now we're going to go select, modify, select, inverse. The hotkey for this is Control Shift I. And when we inverse this, what it's going to do, let's zoom out here, is it's going to reverse the selection. So now I have everything, all the white selected, whereas before, if I'd have hit delete, it would have deleted this kale. It would have deleted the picture. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a mask. This is going to mask out all that white area. So when I click this button right here, it creates a mask. Now I'm going to create a new layer, solid color, and I'm going to use a bright green, like a green screen. Okay? pull this layer down below the layer. Now we can see the spots we missed. Now, because my kale is green, I might want to choose a different color, something that's not in here, maybe a hot red, okay, or a bright, bright neon blue. Whatever you can really, really see it pop against, so you can see those areas that you missed, right? Maybe a neon pink. Ooh, yeah, that does it, right? So now we're going to go back to the magic wand tool, and I'm going to go click back on my layer with the kale. I'm going to select these areas that I missed. So over here, over there, in between the leaves, right there and there. Do I want to do this one up here? I'm just making these pure white. Just a little bit there, maybe there. So I'm going to really make those areas pop. Zoom in, zoom out. Ooh, look, there's one there. These little spaces are super easy to miss, and that's why we do this sort of green screen double check. Now, I'm not too worried about all this up here, although I can click on it and get a lot more of it. Now let's click on this mask here, and then we're going to go Edit, Fill, and we're going to fill it with black. Boom, all gone. Okay, Control D, deselects. Let's turn this back to white now. So we're going to slide this all the way to the left to white. Just double click on the color there to pull up your color picker. And now you can really start to see it's looking good. I'm going to go up here, click on the mask of the original kale layer. I'm going to hit B for brush or E for eraser. Either one will do, but since we're in the mask, we're going to use B for brush. Click once, get your pen the size you want, and now I'm using black. It's over here. If you don't have black up, you can click this to quickly get the default of white black, switch it using the double-sided arrow, or hit the hotkey X. X will quickly switch between black and white, the default colors. I'm going to zoom in, and now I'm going to paint out these areas. So like this, zooming in and around, decrease my brush size here. Ooh, I went too small. It was like 1 pixel. Right? I'm like Bob Rice. I feel like Bob Ross, making little noises while I color. There we go. Use a little bit of a pull stroke to make it soft and round. Now, I'm going to use a bigger brush, and I'm going to make it move faster. So when doing background removal, a lot of the pros, what they do is they use a big brush and do a large area first, and then work their way down and in tighter. So like this. So they would zoom out. And now any of those little tiny dots that we might have missed, I'm going to use a really big fat brush. I'm going to bring out a really big brush here. And I'm just going to do that whole area. Right? Because now I've guaranteed that there's no dots. Now I'm going to slide it down, get smaller. I'll do this area. Right? This is how they would work, is they would work big to small, guaranteeing that everything's in there. You want to double check? Go to your mask, and you can actually, it gives you a little default note here. It says, what would you like double clicking on the layer mask to do? This behavior can be changed later in the preferences tools. I'm going to choose enter select mask. So when I double click it, it enters into the mask and you can see it. So kind of a cool feature, right? All right, so we can get out of the masking tool here. Let's go back out. Just click on your image to go back out, and we're good. So I'm going to double check this by just double clicking my color selector, going to red, checking, zooming in. Ooh, look, I missed a spot right there in the P, and up here. Click on the mask. Hello. Where's my brush tool? B for brush. Take that out. There. W for magic wand. And edit fill to fill the area that's been selected. Control D to deselect. Control minus to zoom out. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I think I missed one down here in some of these numbers. So this is why we use this kind of masking option with like a red screen or a green screen, is to test and make sure that we got all the areas that we want to get. What's going to happen is I'm going to enlarge these and make these huge. I want to make these huge. Any area like that is really going to show up. So looking good. Back up here, double click on the color, slide it back over to white to give it a white background, and now I've got a perfectly nice white background. I'm zooming in just because I want to see, over here, see that little area? To the mask, brush, B for brush, erase. Now I can also reverse the brush and bring back some of this number here. So if I slide my pen down and I come over here, I can trace in my handwriting and just bring back, was that a 5? What was that? Let's color it in and find out, because I can always reselect it. What was that number? Very messy handwriting, Erin. I think that's supposed to be a 3. Goodness. Let's hit Control Z a couple times. There we go. Let's zoom in. Yeah, I think that's a 3. I'm just going to get rid of some of this little bit. There. Oh, look, in between the number, we could do some of this here too. So W, let's take out that. Edit, fill, black, Control D. Oh, here's one up here I can do. Edit, fill, black, Control D to deselect. Zoom out. Did we get them all? Just kind of move around in here if we're happy with it. This one I'm going to use brush tool. Going to reverse my colors, so instead of X to reverse, and let's just put that in there a little bit. There we go. Messy, messy handwriting, but that'll show up a little bit more when we enlarge it. And down here, finally, I'm going to take some of this out. And so W for magic wand, click in here, maybe a little there. Nope. Control Z, and finally fill, black. Okay. Control D. That's going to make that look a lot smarter. Alrighty there. There we have it. I have changed that whole background to a pure white. I'm going to hit Control S for save and then Control W for close, and I'm done. That's how you can change the background to white, creating a mask. And happy background removal. This has been The Artist Appeals. If you have a tutorial you want me to do for you in Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator, hit me up and let me know. Talk to you later. Bye.